quick recap then of what we
Yes,
covered
please.
last time?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pick up from PubMed. Let's get this into PubMed.
So we should be on Word and Zotero at the same time.
Yep. Mhm.
That's one lesson.
So you're going to YouTube this one too?
I am. So we're recording right now, and what I'll do is put it into a YouTube video and share that link. Mhm. Okay. So recapping the last time I was here, that was a few weeks ago already. I think I'll go, well, I mentioned there's going to be a new version of PubMed in January, but we started with making sure you know how you think about your search. Yeah, no, that's okay. Okay, so with the actual searching, I said it's a good idea to just start out really simple with your search. You're not going to start out with this completely structured search with ands and ors and all of that. So really simple, just to kind of get a feel for what's out there. And I think this example, the search is vaping and pulmonary side effects. And then I said the next thing you'd want to do is to check the search details to see how PubMed translated it. And then recalling that PubMed has its own language, so the medical subject headings, you want to make sure that PubMed is able to understand your search terms. So we see vaping, I think I opened, there's an expanded view. So if we clicked on see more, we opened up that search details. This is what it would look like. And it's good because we see that vaping is being translated to a mesh term. Side effects, it's being translated to adverse effects. So it understands what we mean. And pulmonary, it's translating to lung. And then this is just kind of a recap on what the medical subject headings are. So the mesh terms are chosen. Let me move this out of the way, sorry. The mesh terms are actually assigned to an article by a librarian at the National Library of Medicine. They have to go through every single article, so it takes time to do. But when they assign it, those terms are meant to describe the central themes of an article. So, and it's also a way of helping you find articles regardless of the terms that are being used. So, you know, somebody could be searching electronic nicotine delivery system or e-cigarettes, but PubMed knows that these two mean the same thing. So I think that's all you really have to know about mesh. You don't want to, without going into too much detail about it, it's really just intended to help give you an idea of what search terms you should be using. Yeah. Can I? Woo. Okay.
So I was using Google Scholar and it worked really well.
Oh, okay. No, Google Scholar is good too. I think it all kind of depends on the type of search that you're doing. Yeah. How do I get out of the way? Okay. So if you wanted to look for different types of keywords, when you're in the abstract view of an article, like we are here, if you went down to the bottom underneath the abstract, you would see, boy, this thing just keeps popping up. For people online, do you see that box, or do you see my screen, right? It's just a small box. That's kind of distracting. Is it distracting for you guys? Sorry.
This is Liz. I don't see a small box. I just see the screen.
Okay. Here.
Okay.
I see a box that says publication type, mesh terms, substances, grant support.
Okay, good. That's what I want you to see. So if I was looking, this is just another place to find the mesh terms. You'll see where it's assigned on an article. So when you're in the abstract view, like this here, if you know, it might be kind of hidden. You might have to scroll down, but you'll see a box that says publication type mesh terms, or it'll just say mesh term, and it will give you all of the, you know, the subject terms that have been assigned to the article. So if you get stuck and you're not sure if you're searching the right thing, when you find an article that, you know, this is what I'm looking for, this is a great article, you can always look to see what terms are assigned to it. and maybe you're missing something. So it's just a way of double checking yourself. Okay. And then this is just an example of, more of the search process. So you can see this is the search history, and you would find this if you're looking at a PubMed search box. Underneath it will have advanced. You would click on advanced and it would show you, it would give you an advanced search screen and it would give you this search history here. But this is just a way of, I guess I wanted to illustrate that, getting to zero sometimes is part of the process, and really it's just, you're going to just keep kind of playing around with it. So this is my first search and I have 57. We played around with the words a little bit. We were curious what vaping was. Changing it to adverse effects in vaping. So we got a little bit more, because if you remember, the medical subject heading preferred over side effects was adverse effects. So using adverse effects was a better term to use here. And then at this number 9 search, you can see we started adding on the ands and ors. So you might start out with fewer. You take it out and you might get more. You're kind of getting a feel for what's out there. And then as you get more clear with what you're looking for, then you can start adding on more terms to get more. These search results should be a little bit more specific to what you are looking for. Does that make sense? Okay. And then this is a reminder of, well, I guess some specifics of how to use the ands and the ors and the nots. So ands are going to give you less results. If I said I'm looking for vaping and side effects, that means I need both of those terms to appear in one article. But if I said vaping or side effects, I could get either or, and I'd probably have a ton of results, millions of results. But if I said not, I could say I want it to be, let's see, vaping and side effects. Or actually I think a better example is for diabetes. If you were looking at diabetes and maybe I didn't want to see results related to gestational diabetes. So I could have this whole search on diabetes, but I could say not gestational. So it would get rid of anything that was related to gestational diabetes. The parentheses, you use these to keep any of your or terms together. So if you're saying e-cigarettes or electronic nicotine delivery system or vaping, I would keep parentheses around all of the ors. So it's just a way of nesting your synonyms together. And that way the database knows kind of which order to look at, which order to read your terms in.
So not quotation marks. I was using that some other system.
So the quotation marks, would tell PubMed. So if I searched electronic nicotine delivery system with no quotation marks, it's going to automatically go electronic and nicotine and delivery and system. If I put quotes around it, it would look only for that phrase together, all 4 words in that order, the exact phrase. But it would also turn off subject heading, the mesh. So you use it, it would really depend on what your term is. If there was a mesh term, so for ENDS, electronic nicotine delivery system, I wouldn't use it there because I would just rather it map to mesh. Okay, the asterisk will go to, it'll find all of the variations of spelling. So for Hawaii, if you did H-A-W-A-I and then an asterisk, you might pull up the versions of Hawaii that have okinas, don't have okinas, Hawaiians, all of those different types of spellings. Okay, and then I said that PubMed automatically wants to put and in between everything unless you turn it off. So using quotations would let you turn it off. And then just checking the search details. I think the really nice thing about PubMed is that it's so transparent. Okay, and then the last thing that you could do, so if you, once you were done kind of playing around with your search terms, or if you feel like you've exhausted your search and you're ready to start, you know, zeroing in on the articles that are more specific, you can also use the filters that are on the left-hand side of your PubMed screen. So a good example of when to use filters would be if there's a specific article type that you're interested in, if there's a date range that you need, or if you click on Show Additional, you can limit to ages, you can limit to sex, journal categories. So this is just a way, and then, so if I clicked on ages here, this is what it would look like. It gives more, you can get a little bit more granular with the age group that you're interested in. So rather than searching adolescent, I think I would probably, I'd try it both ways and see which one gives you better results. But you don't always have to use, like, adolescent doesn't have to be a search term. You could use your filter for that. And then the really useful one would be, I kind of cut it off here. Maybe we can, I want to show you. I cut it off. Okay. There's an article type filter, and that one is really useful for getting you to, you know, say you want to find, you just want to look at the systematic reviews, or you just want to look at clinical trials. There's a filter for that. So it'll limit you just to the articles that are those, you know, only the systematic reviews. So that's also a quick way of getting rid of a lot of junk in your search results.
There's a way to save your search strategy,
Mm-hmm.
so you might want to go back.
We can do that. I'll show you when I show the NCBI account. I'll show you how to save the searches too. This is important. I want to make sure everybody knows this. So since you've got Hawaii.edu affiliate, or Hawaii UH Manoa affiliation, you want to use this Find It button here. So if you start your search at the library and then you enter PubMed from the library, you'll see it should automatically ask you to sign in with the same way you would log into UH email. And then when you're looking at your results, you'll see a little Find It button pop up. If you were in the public version of PubMed, you know, pubmed.gov, and you hadn't gone through the library to sign in at all yet, you're not going to see this Find It button, and then that public version of PubMed doesn't know
That's very handy.
what you have access to. So ignore the publisher buttons. Don't do that. Just use that Find It button. Publishers button, sometimes you'll still hit a paywall, even when it is something that we actually do have access to. So, okay. And then clinical queries. I don't think we got to touch on this at all last time. Do you want me to go over this, or would you rather I go right into NCBI, Dr. Tam? Okay, I'm going to talk about it then.
I think, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So clinical queries is just another way. It's a smaller subset of results in PubMed that it's limited to very specific study types. So if it's your clinical questions related to some sort of therapy, it's going to limit your search results to randomized controlled trials, and I think a few other types of studies. But so it's a nice way of getting to just the most relevant, higher quality evidence than if you were in regular PubMed. And I think I'd rather just demo this part since we didn't get to do this last time. I'm gonna escape. Okay.
Is there a way to limit just to reviews, where it might not be a
You can.
real complex review? It would just be a review article.
I'll
Like the New England Journal review article.
Mm-hmm,
It's
mm-hmm.
not a systemic series.
I will. So I'm gonna get to PubMed from the library's homepage. Okay. So I'm going to just stick with this and say, let's go with this one. Okay, so this is regular PubMed, 222, no filters, but if I just wanted to limit to reviews, so there's article types on the left, and I can click on review. So 51 review articles. If I click on customize, there are all these other article types available, you know, study types. So here's like our systematic reviews. We could click on that and we would hit show. And then I would still need to, in order to activate it, I have to click on it again. So 52, so maybe we could say, let's see what the difference is. There should be less. So only 4 systematic reviews, and what did we have, 20?
Thinking of review articles that are not systematic.
Mm-hmm. So that was this one, just regular review articles.
Review.
Yeah,
Okay.
51.
Got it.
So where was the clinical query search?
Oh, I'll go to that one next. So I'm going to go back to the home page screen. So I'm back on PubMed. Clinical queries is right in the middle of the screen under PubMed tools here. So let's see. So I'll go with a different example. If we have, I think I used this the other day. It was mucolytic agents for treatment in COPD. So COPD, with this, you don't have to give it as many search terms because it's looking at a smaller subset of what's in PubMed already. It isn't looking at everything. So you can kind of think of this as almost like a little mini UpToDate in a way, because it's only looking at the highest levels of evidence. So this is where I can switch it depending on what type of clinical question I have. So therapy, diagnosis. So we'll leave it on therapy, but here you can toggle it to broad or narrow. So just the scope. I'm gonna see what the difference is. So this went from 475 to 74 articles. And then our systematic review, there's a column here in the middle. So it's showing us 5 out of 16 results, but if we wanted to look at all of them, we'll go to this one. We would just click on see all underneath it. And then here, oh, clear. I had another filter that was still activated, so I had to clear that one. So that's why it looked like that. But here's the 74 results. And if I wanted to find something more specific, then you could do the filters. Like if it was, you know, if you were looking for an elderly people, you know, treatment for elderly people, you could show additional, do ages, click show again, and then I could so 59 articles. Okay. Any questions so far? Online or in person?
Hello, this is Dan Saltman. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
So I read something recently where they searched for things that were in all languages, and then they used Google Translate to identify things as well as some other things. But they used Google Translate to look at some of the results in other languages. Is there a trim way to do that?
Not that I know of. I've heard of other people using Google Translate also. I guess the better way is if you knew somebody that spoke the language. That might be but I don't know of another way of translating an article.
How about just, is there a way to drive the results of the search into Google Translate and then get the search results in English?
So you have a search that's in another language, is that?
Well, if you search PubMed also can can return results that are in other languages, right?
Right. Oh, so if you wanted to not have any, you only want English results, English language.
You want other language results, but you want to know what they are so that you would translate those results into English.
I think if you had the text of that article, then I would see how Google Translate would work. But I don't know of anything else, any other way of translating languages. I mean, there's a way that you can do your search. So there's a filter for languages. So here, languages. This is the only, you would use this if you were looking for an article in a specific language, but this doesn't translate anything for you. So I'm sorry, maybe does that, I don't know if I'm answering your question.
Well, I was interested in the search results themselves, just the titles and the citations that might come back in another language. If you didn't use this filter, you would get everything in all languages. And then just to know whether they were going to be relevant for your interest or not, you would want to see a translation of the results in English, the search results.
Yeah, I think, Dan, what we've had to do is either print it as PDF and then do a Google Translate. So it's a two-step process.
Yeah.
You have to come out, yeah.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
So this one, maybe PubMed, or you're talking about Google then. And so in Google Scholar, you'll see things that are in a foreign language still. PubMed, though, so even though this article is in Japanese, the abstract is available in English. So whenever you see these brackets, that lets you know the article is in another language. But yeah, okay.
That's helpful.
Yes, thank you.
English,
That's what I was asking.
the abstract, or does PubMed do that?
You know, I don't know.
I think
I don't.
the authors may.
Okay.
I suspect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It could depend on the journal. So they were asking if the authors supplied the English language abstract, or so the other thing you could do, I think, the authors of articles, you can always contact them and ask them if there's an English language version of articles too. It doesn't hurt to ask, since there is contact information here. Or, I mean, at least you can see which university they're affiliated with. But the actual article will often have some sort of contact information. So, sorry, I didn't have an easy answer to that one. Okay. Were there other questions? I think we did that. So what I can do now is I can go in to start talking about my NCBI. What time are we at? So we're almost at 1 o'clock. That way we can work on everybody getting set up with that. So the My NCBI account, you can use it to save searches, create alerts. So if you save a search, you can set it to alert you if anything new pops up in that search. You can save citations, create collections, and you can set it up to remember your affiliation. So we set it up so that the NCBI tool NCBI knows that you're part of UH Manoa. And then if you forget to start your search from the library's homepage, as long as you're signed into your NCBI account, you'll still see your Find It button. So PubMed will remember that you're part of UH. So that's a good reason to use it. And then, of course, so if you look here, there's this My Bibliography, which I think Dr. Tam wants everybody to set up, but this way you can keep track of your own work and enter in, so you can find your work through PubMed, but then also enter in other things like your posters or conference proceedings.
Yeah, so I wanted folks to do this because every year I get, reports of the publications people have made, but when people type it in all differently, it's not recognized. Whereas if you use this method, each publication has a unique identifier. So it's just easier when I combine bibliographies. We can get rid of duplicates, things like that. So it just helps us get more accurate data.
I'm gonna sign out. Okay, so here, I'll show everybody, this is the way that I would recommend signing up for it. So when you're in PubMed and you go to sign in to NCBI, there's...
How do you get to sign in?
Oh, here, I'll show you. Let me go back to the regular. Okay, so here I'm signed out. So there's, in the upper right-hand corner, it'll say sign in to NCBI.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then, so I don't recommend these, I guess, unless you've already got an NIH login. But I think, oh, I wish this would go away. Go away. Okay. There is this register for an NCBI account, and I would recommend doing that. I think if you forget your logins with these other options, it's a little bit harder to retrieve the password. So I recommend just doing register for an NCBI account.
I second that recommendation.
Okay. So, and then you can check to keep yourself signed in, so you don't have to remember to do it every time. But so here, I'll sign in. Okay. I want to go away bar. I have this little bar up here that I can't see my search bar. Hold on. Okay. So let me see if I can just find this public version of PubMed. I'm not signed into the library at all, but I am signed in to my NCBI account. So when I click, I'm just going to click on any article right now. Let's make sure. So I do see my Find It button still. So it remembers that I'm part of UH. So I think that will save you a lot of time and trouble. Okay. So here, and then this is.
That Find It sort of links you to the UH.
Yes. Yes. So. That was my other window. So this article, when I click on Find It, it takes you to another window, but it's authenticating you as a UH user. And then let's wait for it to open up. So it will say if there's no full text available, that's okay, because what it'll give you is an interlibrary loan link here. And this is important because then you can just order the article, so you don't need to pay for anything. If you have the time to wait, if you can wait, a day or so, let's let it log in. I'll log in. Okay, so it'll automatically fill in the fields that were on the PubMed page, and then all I have to do is hit submit, and then I'll get an email when the article is available. So
you get it electronically.
Yes. So I hit submit, and then later on I get an email saying that it's ready, and it will give me a link back to this page, and then you'll log in and you'll have received article PDFs, and then you can just go to view it and you can download it from there. And then I would download, and then it's yours.
You don't have.
I gotta say, I've never used that. That's great. Wow.
Do you have to go into My NCBI to do that, or can you just do it through the library when you click on Find It?
So it's going to be this. If you go through the library, you should see the Find It button. But
you can do interlibrary loan with that.
Yes.
Too. Yeah.
Yes.
So one trick with that is when you click on the Find It, it went. Because you sit there and you say, I don't think this went anywhere. Or it doesn't say finished or sent. Or
it should open up a new window for you. It should. Yeah. Okay.
Then it looks like the one you just were on.
It should look like this. It should be this funny looking page. Yeah.
Huh.
So
Where do they get the loans from? Like other universities?
yes. So the university has agreements with universities throughout the country, and I think even internationally, to fulfill requests. So, you know, if we don't have something, we can get it from someone else, and then if they don't have it, you know, they can request it from us too. So it's
And then we can get a PDF of the article.
yes.
Huh. Cool.
Okay. So if we go back to looking at this My NCBI page, this is where I saved different searches and I can get alerts. This is where, so My Bibliography, this is where you would go to track your work. You can see all of the recent activity. So this will go back about 6 months. And then this is if you wanted to create, you know, depending if you're working on different manuscripts, or if you want to keep track of, you know, different clinical questions that you've received and search results, you can kind of start creating little collections here. Okay, so I'll go into this Manage My Bibliography. So this is what you all would do. So Manage My Bibliography, and then we did this one is set up for Dr. Tam right now. So what we did was, when you do a search, so here you can click on Advanced, and this is going to give you an advanced search page, and I would put in, so you would put in your, we'll do a different one right now. Can I use you as an example, Dr. Brown?
Fasciola, F-A-S.
We're gonna populate My Bibliography.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
very good. Oh,
Mhm.
Yes, please do.
Okay. So here, we'll just actually, this might be a hard one because there might be a lot of J. Browns. Okay, so I changed it to author. So I put in the name, it's gonna search author, search, and I have to turn off this filter actually, clear.
well, that's good. That sounds like me.
Okay, so there's 105 results. You know, it looks like there is, we could switch this to J. Is it D as your middle initial?
D.
Okay. Okay. So you could go through it and you could say, okay, this one's mine, it's mine, you know, click all of the ones that are yours. I'm just gonna, or if they are all yours, then you would go to send to, and you would just send to My Bibliography. Add.
Are those all yours, Joel? You got 105?
No.
Oh no, it's 11.
Oh, oh, okay, that's good.
Okay, so now I'm gonna go back here to my NCBI. I can go back to Manage My Bibliography. Going slowly. Okay, so I have Dr. Tam's and Dr. Brown's in here now, but let's just pretend they're all the same person. There's a link here that makes sharing this really easily. So I think, like for Dr. Tam, if she's trying to collect all of the citations from you, then you should be able to just share this link with her, and then she'd be able to look at everything. It's all formatted. And then this is where you would go to add in citations. So for things that aren't covered by PubMed, click. So I can add it manually. And then it says right now, I'm going to be putting in a journal article that does not appear in PubMed. So PubMed indexes a lot of the biomedical journals, but maybe you did something that was a little bit more interdisciplinary, if it's in a social science journal or psychology, maybe it wasn't covered by PubMed, you can still put it in here and keep track of everything all in one list. Or you can change this to books, meeting abstracts, presentations. It'll change the fields for you.
And then it appears differently on the bibliography.
So we have an example. I think
So
it's
some
going
will
to
be
be,
journal articles, some will be
I think,
posters and stuff like that.
it would, so here's, oh, that one says other. I had a test one. I'll just do a test one right now. Okay, I'm going to add manually. Let's do this.
Yeah, so all the ACP abstracts, you know, that don't get published in PubMed, you could add them in here.
Just say it was January. Oh, okay, there you go. But it has like the location of the conference, all of that. We're just going to go to add. Let's see where it shows up. Let me find it. Okay, so it's down at the end of my list, and there so it looks like it's showing that it was a manually entered citation, and then you can still edit it again if you need to.
Melissa, could
Mhm.
you go back to that edit page? Is there a place where you could copy paste the whole abstract into it?
Oh, so I think we could do from a file.
Mm.
No, that's if you wanted to upload a PDF, and then I think it might be able to capture the information in a PDF.
Oh, okay.
To copy and paste it, you said?
Yeah, like in this notes section down there.
Oh, putting in the entire thing. I think this looks like it just wants you to do it field by field.
There was a
Okay.
choice for meeting abstracts in the pull down box right where you were, right there, meeting abstracts.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a field that will accept like 500 words? Let's see.
So I think you would just put the citation here,
Yeah, yeah.
but not the actual text of what was in it. Yeah.
Okay.
So another place for something like that. So I guess the My NCBI bibliography gives you a list of what you've done. But if you wanted to actually keep a list of what you've done along with the objects, like the PDFs, the full text of all of your work, something like Zotero or EndNote would do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, so folks, if you ever go to look at Stanford University at their faculty and see what work they've been doing, they're pretty much pulling in from their NCBI bibliographies. So they don't have to go to the website and, you know, the Stanford website and type everything in. They just have a link that flows in from their NCBI. And that's the power of it. And then, so that's on like a web page for faculty directories, but I see it also being used for like when you submit a grant and they want your bibliography, you can pull in from there. So it's quite powerful. You don't have to re-enter every time.
I would imagine they're using this link, the bibliography link. That can just go into a website and link people.
Yep.
Do they sort the entries, whether they're manual or otherwise? Do they sort them alphabetically by date, or can you choose how to sort them?
So if you, under that hide all warnings button, there's this newest to oldest sort by, and then there's a drop down menu. So I think it defaults newest to oldest, but you can switch it to author. There we go.
And the author would be the first author.
Yep. Yes. Oldest to newest.
Yeah. We may have to do some tweaking once you build the library, like say just which ones are just peer reviewed. There must be a way we can just pull out the peer reviewed ones. But the main thing is to get your work into one database that we can pull from, you know.
Okay.
That's good. Thank you.
That. So I think, what was I gonna? So why don't we have a little bit, since there's about 20 more minutes, or I guess 15, 20, I'll start kind of just going over the differences between EndNote and Zotero now. So this is just your crash course in citation management, and hopefully it'll just help you kind of wrap your head around it a little bit more. If it's, they are, so something like EndNote is notoriously difficult to use. It's got
it didn't used to be.
So it does a lot. It's very powerful, but it's taking the time to learn how to use it is, you know, that's what librarians are for. But so Zotero is similar to EndNote in that they're both meant to, you know, you extract your citations or the work that you want to cite from the larger database like PubMed, and you use something like EndNote or Zotero to just put in the citations that are relevant to what you're working on. And then when you're ready to start your manuscript and you are citing as you write, EndNote and Zotero, both of them have connections with Word. So the softwares will talk to one another so that it can just automatically help you start formatting citations. So you don't have to, you know, format every single citation by hand. So for EndNote, this is the confusing part, I think, also, is that there's what most people are familiar with is this full version. It's a desktop software. It's not free, but you can get it through the university for $55 as opposed to $300 if you just went to endnote.com. So there's it's subsidized through the university.
It's a single purchase fee.
It's yearly. It's yearly. So
and it's a cloud-based.
There is a cloud-based component with it. So that's what this online version is. But that version is free. So you could have an EndNote online account and just use the cloud-based version of it without needing the full version.
But I think the 2 gigs goes pretty quick.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, so
but both,
well, I was going to say, if you guys are interested in the desktop full version, at least for a year to try it out, just come up to Helen or me and we'll help you get that. We're picking up the tab for some, you know, like if I know you're working with a resident or a student, I try to cover that as part of our scholarship, and we'll facilitate getting it. Although, you know, truth be told, if you're going to think you're going to be renewing, then it's easier to just pay by check and I might reimburse the first year, something like that. But department will help facilitate your getting this if you choose to try it out. And then correct me if I'm wrong, Melissa, but like 1 year I didn't renew it, you know, I didn't pay it, but what I had on my desktop still worked.
it won't go away, it won't disappear. You just won't be able to update it. So if there are changes to the software, you're going to be stuck using the older version. But that's
okay.
Not that terrible.
It's not that terrible. Often there aren't that many changes, and you can actually still cite while you write, while you're, yeah, okay.
Yes.
So since Liz is on and she used it, if you typed 3 sentences and you gave a citation after each one, you citation 1, 2, 3, and then you decided you wanted to put the 3rd sentence as the 2nd sentence, does EndNote automatically change the numbering and the bibliography?
Yes, yeah. As long as you copy the whole sentence and the reference with it and move the whole thing, it'll change the order.
To change the numbers.
It'll change the number, yeah. If you're in Vancouver, for instance, it'll change the sequence.
Okay, well, I'll wait and see.
Okay.
Okay.
So here, I'll go into Zotero now. So same idea. It's a citation management software. You collect citations. It'll talk with Word. this is initially free. The software that lives on your computer is free. You've got less storage that is free, and then I think after that, it's a much smaller fee if you needed more storage. But if you're saving the PDFs in your software, that's what's going to take up the storage. If you're just keeping citations there, that won't. It's going to take a long time before you start affecting storage if it's just the citations. So it's the attachments that take up the most space. So the nice thing about Zotero, though, is that it does grab the PDF for you automatically if it sees it available. So if you're in PubMed and you've got one of the PubMed Central articles, or if you're at a different, whatever database and you've already logged in through UH, it can see that PDF. It's going to just save it automatically for you. EndNote doesn't do that, but it does have a button that you can push, and you can set up, push a button and tell it to grab PDFs for you. So it's possible. The other thing that is nice with Zotero is the workflow. It has there's a browser tool that, so you can connect it to your browser. You can press a button when you want to save a citation into Zotero, and it just saves all of that information really easily and really quickly. I don't know if anyone here uses Pinterest, or have you ever? Basically, it's literally the click of a button, and it saves all of that citation information for you. And EndNote doesn't have that option either. So the workflows are a little bit different. Let's see. Actually, here. I think since we have time, I'm going to show how it works. Let me do this. Let's do.
I'm remembering now all of the filing cabinets I have.
Oh, yeah.
Articles and how I saved them 40 years ago.
Oh, let me see. Let me just find something that already had. Oh, no, I don't want to open up these. Okay. Oh, this is messy. Sorry. We're just gonna start from scratch. Okay. So I've got both a Zotero button or tab and an EndNote tab. So probably have to do separate documents. I don't think I'm going to open up. This is the Zotero software.
Sorry.
This is I'm in Microsoft Word now.
You're in Microsoft.
That's nice.
You had to add the Zotero.
Yes.
You have to be on both of them at the same time.
Yeah. So
It shows up on the top.
this is hold on. I have to log in really quickly. So I'm going to show how you start things from Zotero.
Zotero. On top, only when Zotero is open and you're in.
That's when you're in Word and you have Zotero.
And otherwise.
So here's I'm looking at the abstract of an article in PubMed, and this is the browser button that I was talking about earlier. So for Zotero to save the citation, I just have to click on this little button and it save.
So they really hid that.
I have a lot of other junk on my.
But even then, it's very faint.
It's faint.
Would it say what?
So it's saving to.
Your library.
It's saved to this. So this is the article I just saved. Integrated paleogenomic characterization. Okay.
That's a
Yeah. It didn't grab the PDF because this is one that we don't have immediate access to. I put in an ILL for this. So I can, once I get the PDF, I could attach it to the citation.
And that's saved in Zotero.
Yep, it's saved in Zotero. So if I'm, here, let's get some better text in there. Here, let me do this. Okay, so I have text. I'm gonna put a citation. I'm gonna do a citation here. So I would click on Zotero. I would add citation. And here it's gonna ask me to choose a style. Oh, I could choose the cell style. I could do Vancouver. It's just kind of the generic numbered style. Hit OK. And then I can search by the author's name. Or if you had title, if you remembered the titles of the article, like words in the title, you could search by that too. So keywords. Okay, so it put in my one there, and then let's see, I'm gonna do one here.
Does Zotero have folders?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can put it under COPD folder.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So if I wanted to create a reference list, I can just click on Add Edit Bibliography.
So you're having numbers up there. It says, can't read it.
Yes, it is. It's numbers. Sorry, I wonder if I can make this bigger.
Then you have to go to that next button over and say Add.
Yeah. So then I did Add Edit Bibliography to create this list.
Thing, right?
Yes, yes. But I can go back. You should be able to go back. You know, I can still add in another citation here. Let's see, who do I have in here? Okay, so it changed this last one, which was 2, to number 3, and it put them in the right order still. But then the next thing you could do, so say this is the wrong style and I need to change it, I can click on Document Preferences, and then I'll show this APA one since that will be the most dramatic change.
So in your document, can you make that last sentence your second sentence?
Let's see.
Or just cut and then put it up there and see if it's, the numbers change.
So what I would do then is click refresh, and let's see if it. So when I refreshed it, oh here, it was already in, it's in alphabetical order now, so Fong was already in the right place, but here, if I switch it.
Well, that's how he's done.
Here, we'll do that. Okay, so we're back in numbered, and then here, I'll just move number 1.
At the end.
Do this. Let's see. Okay, so then let's try it again. I'm going to click refresh on the document. So
Refresh.
Okay.
Ah, refresh. That's the
Yeah.
Haha.
Ha. There's always a trick in there somewhere.
Where's the refresh button?
This one here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is so cool.
Wait, could you show that again? Where's the refresh button?
Oh, it's up here. It's
Oh,
yeah. I know Zotero's buttons are kind of small, but
Refresh.
oh my goodness. Okay.
That's all.
Ah.
Yeah.
so EndNote buttons, I have the full version of EndNote, so it does a lot more. There are a lot more bells and whistles with EndNote. So this is what their bar looks like in Microsoft Word. Their insert citation button's a lot bigger, but it does the same thing basically. So both of them are going to format citations for you.
So you're in Word on the bottom.
Yeah.
But EndNote on the top.
Well, you can
And that's
choose.
because you had EndNote and Zotero both open, and you could go back and forth.
Oh, no, I just used
Oh.
Zotero for this, but I was just showing you what
Understood.
what
But
the EndNote
yeah, you
looks
can go
like.
back.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
you did that trick on Zotero.
That was Zotero,
Yeah.
yeah. So
when you get on Word, EndNote shows up automatically on mine. Then you have to open Zotero, and then it shows up on that top.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If
Okay.
I just open up Word alone, it's just EndNote. Then when I click on Zotero, beside EndNote, it's Zotero. shows
Okay.
up.
Wait, could you,
Hey,
can
Dr.
you show that?
Zotero online.
Yeah, I mean, it's a session, you have to be on Zotero and Word at the same time.
On the cloud.
Or on your computer, wherever it is. Yeah.
But you don't have Zotero downloaded on your hard drive.
No, I just open up.
Open it
Oh.
up
No.
on Safari.
Mine always shows. I'm not
It
sure.
always shows, even when you're
Mine-
not on Zotero.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I don't.
Huh.
Hmm.
I'm sure you're on Zotero.
Pretty cool.
I mean, it's,
That's okay. That's. I mean, we can.
okay, I can work with that.
Okay.
So, but I wonder if Joel, if your Zotero didn't add on properly, because in Word, EndNote, when you have to load Word first, and then you load EndNote, and then EndNote will add on into Word. And I
Okay.
guess with Zotero, you have to do the same thing.
Yes.
So I wonder if yours linked properly. We'll see. You should be able to, just do it.
A couple of weeks ago, they said you had to open up Word and Zotero at the same time. That was
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. That's
When you're
on both.
saving.
You have to have the program running. It's
Yeah,
gotta be-
running.
It's got to be on
Side
your
by side.
toolbar at the bottom.
okay. That's true.
Word on the right. Zotero
So-
on the left.
Do you have to have a current version of Word for this to work?
No.
I mean, I have Word loaded, but I think I got a 2011
So
version
Oh,
I bought at the UH library.
okay. I'm not sure how far back to which versions
I have
it'll work
Office
with.
10.
Okay.
2010 or no?
It's called Office
Office
10,
10.
which is probably.
That's we could look into that later to see
Mhm.
which versions it will still work with. Yeah. Okay. So I
that
don't.
was really helpful.
I'll wrap up.
So can I just refresh
Mhm.
for a moment in my head,
Sure.
not online? So Joel's working on a paper.
Mhm.
You're working on your fasciola
Yeah.
paper.
Trying.
Okay. So
Making progress.
So he's
Knowledge.
scanning the literature for appropriate citation.
Mhm.
Does he scan the literature through Zotero or PubMed? And how does he get those articles, the references into Zotero? Does he do it through PubMed or through Zotero? How does that work?
He's doing it through. He's scanning the literature through PubMed.
So he's on the PubMed through the university.
So any database. So that's where he's
Or
finding.
Google Scholar. Or whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
Google Scholar, but that's where the citations are findable first. But I mean, there's millions of citations there.
Yeah,
So
but he found one.
right,
And now he
so
wants to put it in his folder for his article.
so he can save it to Zotero, and then that way, when it comes time to do the writing part, you've already,
Yeah.
you have a smaller subset of citations.
How does
to
he
work
get
with.
it from PubMed to Zotero?
So
There's a little hidden button up there.
yeah, there's this button right there.
It is a
That's
very
that button
faint
you
little
talked about.
thing. You
Yes.
click on it
Gotcha.
and boom, it's.
Yeah.
It goes right into Zotero.
Yes.
Yeah, right into your library.
Here.
That's the
Do you have to
coolest part.
specify the folder that's in, Joe?
Oh, yeah,
Or
you
you-
open up that folder and it'll go to that folder.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's
Do you have more
updating
than
now.
one folder in your Zotero?
Oh, 2 or something.
Yeah.
And then you can just drag the PDF over to
Yes.
Zotero and boom, it shows up.
So all of
That's
the
cool.
blue icons here, I don't think I can make this bigger. All of these these are all the little blue folders. They're all different folders depending on the class or the project.
Just like your filing cabinet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And you can have them showing up in several, same article can show up in several.
Yeah, you can put it wherever you want.
Put it under epidemiology and life
Yeah.
cycle.
Yes.
Oh, that that's refreshed my brain a lot.
Are there any other questions?
Wow.
No, I think I'll assign Bruce a paper presentation to do, then he can practice.
What's that?
What if I assign you a paper or a presentation to do, and then you
I've got a bunch of them on my back burner that I haven't written yet.
It's
Great.
a good play with them. Just make
Yes.
up 3 sentences
Yes.
and cite them.
Yeah.
And
Makes
find
it
something
easier.
and
Makes it
then
easier.
play around. Doesn't have to be a real thing.
So I have a handout that I sent.
Okay.
Erica has it, and she was going to send it out, but it's a crash course on just the very basics of using Zotero, just to get you started. And then I have a handout
paper handout?
Yes, yeah. So I think
And
she
you
did
have
print
the-
out some.
It's available
The
today.
gentleman that
Yes.
showed it at UH.
Yeah,
So
I
he's
have.
going to send me.
I have his
But he
too.
never sent it to me.
Oh, okay. I'll send it to you.
Okay, so I can just distribute it.
Yes.
So could you go back to where you have your library open and then you have, you're going to put something into your paper. Let's say you have all those articles. I have words side by side with my library.
Oh, okay.
Then when you cite, you pick your article, then it ends up, there's a 2-step procedure.
Thank you very much.
You're
But let's
welcome.
say you cite, that's at the end of the sentence.
Okay.
And you pick something over on your left in your library. So if you just clicked on the article, you can't do that.
No, I
You
don't.
have to put in some information,
I think-
author or the first words.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so then you click on that, and then it goes to your,
Enter.
it says, oh, because mine shows up, it says citation. I have to make another step to get it to that number.
I'll take a look at yours after.
Where's your handout?
Oh, Erica said she printed out a few.
Okay.
I guess up at the front desk. Mhm.
So how much time do you have after this?
I have time.
Yeah, can you just pop in our offices?
Sure,
We can
sure,
just Take a look at this on a more practical basis.
sure. Yes.
Sure, actually.
That was very helpful.
Okay.
you're
Good.
free.
Refreshes.
I'm-
Okay, shall we, we'll end the meeting, but you guys can hang out if you want. That was really helpful. Thank you, Melissa.
Good. You're welcome.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Melissa.
okay, bye-bye.
So this is recorded, and so I'll get it into a format that can be shared with everyone.
Thank you, Melissa.
You're welcome.
Might
Thank
be
you
good
all.
when
Thank you for having me.
When you have your document article, for demonstration, it's made it real big fonts. So you could see the little numbers and
Okay.
so that would be
Okay.
for teaching purposes.
Nope, that's good to know. Let me
Okay,
see
if
how
you get
we.
10 minutes or 15 minutes, can I steal you
Yes.